Have a great day. Welcome to the Control System lecture series. In this sixth lecture, we will learn the modeling of gear train and RLC circuit, and finally the analogy between these systems. So, as we know that in any control system that may consist of electrical component as well as mechanical system. So the purpose of the gear train and lever or timing belt is to transmit the maximum power from one part to the another part, and also to have a force, torque or speed such that we can vary it. In the last lecture, we have taken up the example of the automobile. In the automobile, there was a rotational motion, and that rotational motion is translated into the translational motion, and due to this, there is a movement of the vehicle, and that causes. And that vehicle have a facility to change its velocity, to change its torque, and changes acceleration. So that can be due to the arrangement of the gear available, gear train and pinion arrangement in the vehicle. So these are used to have a maximum power transfer using these matching devices. So gear train. Here you can see there are two gear number 1 and gear number 2. So gear number 1, due to the drive, have a torque T1, displacement theta 1, and this gear have a number of teeth N1. And second gear is having a number of teeth N2, and in this gear the torque developed is T2 and displacement is theta 2. And these parameters are related like this. So as the number of teeth on a surface is proportional to the radii of the gear. Say if the gear 1 has a radii R1, so number of teeth on the gear will be proportional to the R1. If gear 2 has a radii R2, so number of teeth means N2 will be proportional to the R2. So we can have a relationship between that R1 upon R2 will be equal to N1 upon N2, or R1 N2 will be equal to R2 into N1. So distance travel along the surface of each gear will be same. So that gives the relationship between theta 1 R1 equal to theta 2 R2. Now, in ideal case, there should not be any loss, but in actually there will be loss that may be due to the friction. So if we consider there is a no loss, then T1 theta 1 means work done by gear 1 will be equal to the work done by gear 2 means T2 theta 2. So T1 theta 2 will be equal to T2 theta 2. So where T1 theta 1 is a work done by gear 1, T2 theta 2 is a work done by gear 2. So these two will be equal if we assume there is a no losses. So we can represent the relationship between the various parameter in terms of the number of teeth, angular velocity, angular displacement, and radii. So theta 1 upon theta 2 can be represented as a T1 upon T2, and T1 upon T2 can also be represented like R1 upon R2, and T1 upon T2 can also be represented like equal to N1 by N2, and finally omega 2 by omega 1. So these relationships will be helpful during the mathematical equation development. In practical system, the inertia and friction forces cannot be neglected. So these are considered to be lumped at a point. So in this gear train model, you can see the viscous friction is B1 for the gear 1, Columbus friction Fc1 is for gear 2, viscous friction B2 is for gear 2, Columbus friction Fc2. Here the moment will be in this direction, theta 2, and this is the torque developed in this direction. So if we apply the torque at the gear 1 is T, so that will have to face the its inertia J1, its viscous friction B1, Columbus friction Fc1, and then the developed torque in this gear will be T1. While this T1 is translated to T2, and T2 will be equal to the viscous friction forces, Columbus friction, viscous friction torque and Columbus friction torque, and finally inertia torque. And that expression can be represented like this: the torque equation for gear 2, since torque T2 will have to face the inertia and viscous friction and Columbus friction. So due to the inertia, the torque developed will do J2 d square theta 2 T upon dt square, and due to the viscous friction B2 d theta 2 upon dt, and due to Columbus friction Fc2 omega 2 by mod of omega 2. So this is a torque expression for the gear 2. Now at gear 1 side applied torque you can see here is T1, and the developed torque is applied torque is TT, and developed torque is T1T. So and that will be after the this torque TT minus J1 d square theta 1 t upon dt square. Within the bracket, if we say, if we move this all the three parameters, this means there will be the algebraic sum of T1 minus these forces will result the T torque. And we know that the relationship between the torque and number of teeth in T1 upon T2 will be equal to N1 upon N2, or T1 T equal to N1 upon N2 into T2 T. So torque equation for gear 2 in term of torque T1. So here, as we know that T2, and now multiplying by N1 by N2, we will get the expression for the T1 torque, and that is transformed to the T1 side. Now, if we want to express this in term of the theta 1, so since we know the expression theta 1 by theta 2 equal to n2 by n1, or theta 2 equal to n1 by n2 into theta 1. If we differentiate theta 2 with respect to time, so d theta 2 by dt will be equal to n1 by n2 d theta 1 upon dt. And once again differentiating this term with respect to t, so d square theta 2 by dt square can be represented as a n1 by n2 d square theta 1 by dt square. So we can replace this expression by this expression by this expression, and finally the torque T1 will be in term of theta 1, and this expression we can also write in term of the FC1. So that can be very easily expressed. So here quantity reflecting from gear 2 to gear 1 is, so J1 equal to n by n1 square J2. So in place of n by n1 square J2 we can write J1, inertia J1. Similarly, n by n2 square B2 with the B1, and this with by FC1. So that is very easily expressed in terms of FC1, J1 and B1. Now moving to the electrical system. So here consider series RLC circuit. In this circuit you can see that resistance R, inductance L, capacitance C, all these are connected in series, and let us apply a voltage E, and this will cause the current I1 and current I, and the voltage across capacitor say is E naught, that will appear. So for this case we can write differential expression using the Kirchhoff's voltage law, KVL. So here differential equation using the Kirchhoff's voltage law can be expressed like this: L di by dt plus R into I 1 plus 1 by C minus infinity to T I dt equal to E, where this 1 by C minus infinity to T I dt can be represented like E naught. And if we want to express this expression in terms of the charge, so as we know that the current is flow of charge per unit time. Very simple definition. So I equal to dq by dt, or I dt equal to dq. So if once again differentiate di I with respect to t, so di by dt equal to d square q upon dt square. So here you can replace di by dt with di by dt means d square q by dt, and I in place of I you can express uh, dq by dt, and this can be simply represented by minus infinity to t I dt by the q. So you can write finally expression L d square q upon dt square plus R dq by dt plus q by c equal to E. So any series RLC circuit can be represented in term of the charge or in term of the current if the applied voltage is E. Now coming to the parallel RLC circuits, here you can see that in the current source is I, it is facing, it is connected with inside with the inductance L, capacitor C, resistance R, and voltage across it will be E. So differential equation for this circuit can be written with the help of Kirchhoff's current law, and that expression you can write like this: C d upon dt plus E by R plus 1 by L integration E dt, where C dE by dt is a current in the capacitor, E by R is a current in the resistance, and 1 by L integration E dt is a current in the inductance equal to I, the applied current. So that is using the Kirchhoff's current law. So incoming current is equal to outgoing current. Algebraic sum of incurrent current equal to algebraic sum of the outgoing current. If we want to express this expression in terms of the flux, so as we know that the voltage depend upon the change in the flux, so E equal to d phi by dt, or E dt equal to d phi. If we differentiate this expression with respect to t, so d upon dt equal to d square phi upon dt square, and E can be represented like d phi by dt, and integration of E dt, if we integrate this can be represented with the phi. So finally expression can be represented as a C d square phi upon dt square plus 1 by R d phi upon dt plus phi by L equal to I. So both the circuit can be represented mathematically in differential form, and these differential form can be easily transformed into Laplace transform, and that have in S domain. If we want to analyze in terms of the frequency domain, that can be easily used. If we want to analyze in the time domain, the Laplace expression can be inverted, and then that can be analyzed in the time domain. So these are very easily can be analyzed. Now coming to the analogous system. So what is analogous system? Analogous system is defined as a system, those systems have a identical form of differential equation. So any system can be said to be analogous system if their differential equations are identical form. So in a mechanical system, rotational as well as translational can be written to its analogous in the electrical system. So force torque voltage analogy, there is a one, another one is analogy force torque current analogy. Why we want to have a analogy similar to the electrical system, any mechanical system? Because electrical system have a advantage over the mechanical system, since its parameter measurement are very easy compared to the mechanical system, since inertia and the torque are not easy to measure. So here then in analogy we can have a very simple measurement, and that analogous expression can be easily analyzed, and based upon their analysis result we can have a design expression, and that design if found okay, then we can move towards the prototype model. So many times prototype modeling is not required with the help of the mathematical expression. So now you can see four star voltage analogy. First column you can see is a translational mechanical system, second is a rotational mechanical system, third one is electrical system. Here the applied force is E. It is similar to the force and torque in the mechanical system. Here inductance L stores the energy, and this is similar to the kinetic energy stored by mass and moment of inertia. Here in this circuit resistance, this is the similar to the viscous friction forces, and that is similar to the viscous friction coefficient B and torsional viscous frictional coefficient B also. So, and here the reciprocal of capacitance represents the spring constant in a translational motion. A torsional spring constant represents the rotational. So this spring stores the potential energy, and this torsional spring also stores the potential energy. So this, we can say, capacitor stores energy similar to the potential energy. In the mechanical system, if there is in a translational system, there is a displacement x or y. So corresponding in a rotational system, there is a displacement theta. In the electrical system, there is a moment of charge. If the moment of charge takes place, then there will be flow of the current, and this flow of current is analogous to the angular velocity in the rotational system and velocity in the translational system. Now coming to the force torque current analogy, here the current is a applied force similar to the force in the translational motion, and torque in the rotational motion. Capacitance is similar to the mass that stores the kinetic energy and moment of inertia in the rotational body. And 1 upon resistance is similar to the viscous friction in the translational mechanical system, torsional viscous friction in the rotational system. Here 1 upon inductance represents the torsional spring constant in the rotational system, spring constant K in the translational system. Here there is a flux linkage phi, and this flux linkage uh, is similar to the displacement x or y in the translational system and angular displacement theta. If there is a change in the flux, then there will be the development of the voltage, means E equal to d phi by dt, and that is similar to the velocity y dash or x dash in the translational motion, angular velocity theta dash or omega into the rotational mechanical system. So these analogy are very important while designing or obtaining any system, and that may also be a control system. So in the coming lecture, we will see with the example how these are helpful for analysis of any system. Thank you.